did a lot more speaking as well. And then for international relations, which we took junior year, or sophomore year, we did a mock UN, which also gave me, I really had no idea what a UN was until Civitas. And we talked about world issues. We still had to do the news articles, which really taught me a lot. And we did the mock UN where we sat in a circle and everyone got to talk about their big issue for the country that they were given. And then we took speech the next semester, and this class helped me a lot. We did speeches all the time, and we did something called impromptu speeches, where you were given a topic and had 2 minutes to prepare, and then you just had to speak right then and there. You had no time to look up anything, you just had to go off what you know, and that really helped make me a better speaker, I think. There were a lot of times in Civitas where things were really, really hard. There's no easing into all the work. It's really just, here's how things are going to go. You need to be responsible. You need to be on top of things. There would be times when Ms. Reed would write an assignment on the board and say one thing about it, and it was due in 2 weeks, and she would not remind you again, and you would just have to get on it, and you would have to do it. And there was no going back from that. And then my favorite class that we did would be philosophy. We did Socratic circles in here, which were really interesting, and we also did a lot of debates. One debate that I remember a lot is the debate on the existence of God. And before that debate, I never really thought, oh, does God exist or not? And this really opened up my eyes. And I still will find times where someone will say something about the existence of God, and I'll think back to that debate on what I know about that and other people's opinions, and it really widened my view on that subject. This class also made me question a lot more, because in this class there's, how do you know if there's really an answer, or if this really exists, or if this doesn't? So it really helped me understand life and things like that a lot better. We also read the prints, and something that was really cool about that is that we divided up sections and we would present them to the class, and so that also helped me learn a lot. Another thing about Civitas that I really took a lot from was the community service. Every 2 weeks I would go to this school, and sometimes I would do some of the work at home, but I would go to this school called Nicholas Elementary, and I would work with the students and tutor them and help them in their reading and their vocabulary and things like that. So that really showed me a lot about the community. And another event that I did almost all 4 years, I did it for 3 years, was the STARS event. And it's held at Arden Hills, and that really showed me how to behave, I guess you would say, in such a professional environment and interact with people that are very professional. For my senior project, I also did an internship going into senior year. I interned at the California Arts Council downtown. And I learned a lot from that. I got to be in a business environment and work 8-hour days every single day, which was not the same thing as school at all. We were there for so long. But yeah, I learned a lot from that, and I'm really interested in art, so it was a cool thing to be able to be a part of that, and they let me sit in on some of their meetings. And they let me do things on the website. I got to write a few articles that actually appeared on the website, which was a really cool experience for me. And then for my senior project, I worked on something called Conversations with the Earth. And that is about indigenous people and how global warming and the climate change affects their communities and things like that. Like if their crops die, then they don't feed the animals, and the people don't have food from the animals and things like that. So it was really interesting because I didn't know a lot about that before. So I did a 2-hour presentation on that in the library, and getting that to all come together was quite the task. I had to go to different teachers and different schools and to people in the community to tell them, like, oh, come to my presentation. And we had a pretty good turnout, and it was really fun, and we did a lot of activities and things like that. So I learned a lot lot from my senior project because it's one thing to, oh, this is a project, something I put together in a week, but it took quite some time to talk to people and communicate with the person who does Conversations with the Earth, which is Sarah, and she helped me a lot, but I also had to do a lot of things on my own, and I think that's a big part of Civitas is Miss Reed is not going to baby you and help you along the way. You really have to do things on your own, and it makes you a more responsible person, in my opinion. And there are things that if someone told me freshman year, oh, you have to put together a 2-hour presentation for a senior project right now, I don't think I'd be able to do it. But now, with all the experience from Civitas, I feel like I can do a lot of different things. Civitas has encouraged me to take AP classes, which is also something that freshman year I would not have done, but now that's something that's in reach to me. And the whole speaking aspect as well, when an English teacher says, oh, you're going to be giving a 5-minute speech in this class, I don't know how prepared you all are, I'll think back to us doing a 2-hour group presentation in a Civitas class where I have to speak on my part for 30 minutes. So it's really not a big deal anymore to speak in front of people. And now, I used to be so shy, and now I talk so much that if I'm not talking at home, my parents think I'm not home or there's something wrong with me. So, I have Civitas to thank for that. I think that Civitas has prepared me well for a lot of situations and things in life. I feel like college is something that I am well prepared for because of a lot of the assignments Miss Reed has given us and stuff like that. There's no turning in late work, there's no writing in pencil, and it's serious. Civitas is not something where you can mess around. You can't not turn in an assignment and you have to get all of your work done. Another thing that I really took from Civitas is that I consider my Civitas class my family. We've been together all 4 years and we're all so close, and I know I can go to them for any help in school, and it has really created a great family that we have in Civitas. Now I speak all the time. I also speak a lot in all my classes. And even though I don't want to go into politics, I know that I've taken a lot from Civitas and that I will use it a lot for the rest of my life. I have Miss Reed to thank for everything you've done. To say Civitas is a challenge is an understatement. It is so much harder than a lot of people think, but I have never once thought about quitting. It's something that I am so grateful that I did and that I have you for your help and Mr. Nelson. So thank you so much for Civitas.
One thing that Courtney didn't tell you about her project is that this particular set of photographs, which are printed on these really large pieces of vinyl, like 8 feet vinyl, they have photograph and they have all this information about these various indigenous populations around the world, and it's their responses to what's happening to them because of global warming. And the original show was done in Washington, D.C., which is where Sarah, who works for the World Affairs Council here in Northern California, she first saw them, and she mentioned them to me, and I said, I have a student who will love to do a presentation with these. She's an art person, and then I think we can do a really nice job. And she came that evening to help us out, and it was really a very fun evening. I mean, we posted them all around the library, and the kids had to do all kinds of interaction with the posters. It was cute. It was really fun. I enjoyed myself that night. So questions for Courtney?
What do you plan on doing next? I plan on going to college. I just started applying a few weeks ago, so that's what I plan to do next year and just go from there.
Where would you like to go?
My dream school is NYU, and I applied early decision, and I find out December 18th.
Any other question?
I have a question. I was thinking about how you shared when you first came into the program that you hadn't really been exposed to anything having to do with politics. Got that correct? And I wondered, since you shared about how you talk a lot at home with your family. Has that, I wonder if you would share just a few words about how that's influenced your family dynamic in the last 4 years.
My being in a political science academy.
Yeah, coming in fresh, not really having had exposure to that, and then having 4 years of intensive kind of training in it. And now, when you do speak with your parents, for example, or with your siblings, if you have any, I wonder if you could just talk about that dynamic.
Okay. Well, every single night, besides the weekends, my family and I do family dinner, and we sit, and you have to talk. That's just how it is. No one is silent. And we do occasionally talk about politics and things like that. No one is really, like, in my family is really like, oh yeah, I'm a liberal. Like, they're not really like that intense into it, but we'll be watching the news and we do share our opinions and things like that. And it's nice to be able to know what's going on. Like, sometimes I would tell them things that they had no idea about, and that felt really good, just to be able to tell them stuff that I know. And I will voice my opinion too, and I can tell that they like that I have an opinion. And my sister just started Simtosh, she's a freshman, and she still doesn't really say much, but I think that they're really proud and enjoy that I have a say in things like that.
So you started freshman year, go left, go right, you kind of went over the left. Where'd you end up?
Well, freshman year, I didn't really know which one, and over the years, are you asking if I'm a liberal or?
No. Yeah, you say you like to see people, you know, where they start and where they end. So where'd you start and where'd you end?
I started liberal and ended.